going on, CHWA Nation? This is Camera Guy Dilly here with one of the two CHWA commentary team members, Mr. Patrick Brandmeier.
Welcome.
We are here to talk about the Gateway to Glory tournament. This year, it's been a little different. The Junkies of Fame have been kind of causing chaos in CHWA and have demanded more competition. So CHWA decided that this year, on the third annual Gateway to Glory tournament, instead of a singles tournament like it has been for the past couple of years, that it instead will be a tag team tournament. And we have 6 tag teams with 2 additional wild cards for a total of 8 tag teams this year, Patrick.
Yep, Junkies were pushing for competition, and they got 8 teams gunning for those belts, and they're going to be competing for that title shot coming up on June the 21st at the Gateway to Glory tournament.
Yes, and this tournament is going to be very interesting. Obviously, we said 6 tag teams with 2 wild cards, which means 2 teams we don't even know who they're going to be, or are they CHWA history? Are they tag teams in the St. Louis area? We just do not know what those two mystery wild card tag teams are going to be.
Absolutely, and we don't know who they are. The teams that are in the tournament couldn't possibly know who they are either.
Yeah, it's best for all the tag teams to prepare for literally anyone. I mean, you've got the new guys out in.
We've seen Jake Bosch in CHWA before.
Who else? The O'Neills is out there.
Absolutely.
I unfortunately am not as versed as Mr. Patrick is in the area, but we can see anyone. See history. The Warriors were part of CHWA. Yeah. There's still 3 members of that kicking around, although one is a little preoccupied.
Yeah, that's what it seems. A little bit aligned with malicious intent these days. And I mean, there's the Premier out of Kansas City, great tag team.
Okay, yeah. So you could see anyone. But let's get into our first tag team that we do have confirmed. Revolution. Mr. Quest Parker and Anthony Lopez, 2 really good young kids as a tag team who have been making waves in CHWA and in the St. Louis area.
Absolutely. I'll be honest, these guys just might be my early favorites in this tournament. I've seen them go in there with some of the very best in tag team wrestling in the Midwest, and they have shown that they can hang with some of the very best.
Very much so.
We haven't necessarily seen a whole lot of them just yet in CHWA, but they've been all over the area. I've seen them against the new guys. I've seen them against the Premier. I've seen them competing all over the place, and so early in their careers, they're making a great impression on audiences all over the place.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I got to see the match between them and the new guys. Did they wrestle the new guys at the Road Warriors tournament recently?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so obviously great tag team, really good first round team to really maybe make it all the way. Because they're young, they're hungry, and they want a title gold. And if I'm not mistaken, they have yet to hold a tag team championship in any company in the St. Louis area.
Absolutely. Quest and Lopez have yet to hold tag team gold together in the Midwest.
And I know personally that those 2 are looking for tag team gold.
Oh, no doubt about it. And like I said, I've known them for pretty much the entire time they've been wrestling. They've come along really well in a short amount of time, and I think they've got like I said, they're my early favorite in this tournament. I'm interested to see how the endurance factor will come into play, because you got to win 3 matches in one night.
Yes, no, that is going to be something that is a little different than the previous years, where in the previous years the tournament was kind of 2 rounds. You won your first round, and then you went into a fatal 4-way. Mm-hmm. This year, it's 3 rounds. So like you said, Patrick, you've got to win 3 different times to make it to the finals to face the Junkies in July.
Yeah, I mean, it's in any team's best interest to try to put it away early, if at all possible, to conserve yourself.
Very much so.
I mean, you may empty empty the gas tank to win in the first round, but then you got nothing left for the rest of it. So
Yeah.
any of the teams, the Revolution included, have got to worry about that.
Agreed. And let's go on to another team that we think probably can put any tag team away fairly quickly. Let's go with Switchblades. Sean Blaze and Garrett Shanks, two giant competitors in CHWA Tag Division.
Biggest team in this tournament, and size is always a factor, regardless of who you are, regardless of how much talent and experience you have.
Very much so.
The game plan just almost has to change when you're in there when up against a larger opponent.
Yes, and getting rid of both of them very early on in this tournament is going to be the benefit of any tag team that goes through in all the rounds, because, like you said, you can have experience all you want, but size is so dependent in tag team wrestling and wrestling in general.
Yep, and you never know when someone is that much bigger and stronger than you. It could just take one big power move and then the match is over, just like that.
Yeah, and we've seen that Switchblades is very much not afraid to injure and put people away very quickly to make sure, as my good friend cuts the ring in half.
Yep.
It's very dependent to get those guys out, and if they don't, you may look at Switchblades versus the Junkies for Fame in July for their CHWA Tag Team Championships.
Who do you think the fan favorites will be in that one?
Junkies and Switchblades.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Switchblades, because I think our crowd is very, very tired of the Junkies for Fame just being champions and just causing all type of havoc. They've really gone up and above in disrespect of CHWA. But what can we expect?
Right.
It's the Junkies. They're not known for being nice guys.
Right. And neither of those teams are known for following the rule book, shall we say.
Yes. Let's move on to our third tag team. Let's do this St. Louis Connection. Very much rivals against the Junkies for Fame in the sense of CHWA tag teams as well as St. Louis tag teams.
Absolutely.
St. Louis Connection, obviously, Jonathan Zulu, Andrew Wilder, two great known St. Louis competitors and St. Louis tag team with STL Connection. Already have St. Louis Tag Team Championship gold under the belt. I know Andrew Wilder is currently a champion in another promotion, so it's not unheard that these two can walk away with tag team gold.
No question about it. As you said, they've held tag team championships in other promotions. Both of them also with an impressive resume when it comes to singles championships.
Very much so.
So I wouldn't count them out under any circumstances. And as you said, they're no strangers to JSO and Dallas Stevens.
Agreed.
So they pretty much know what they're in for should they win the tournament and move on to face them for the titles.
I make a prediction that the fans, the CHWA Nation, will have STL Connection going all the way to face the Junkies.
They'll certainly be one of the favorite teams.
I agree. But yeah, so those two are I think they're gonna kill it. I think they'll go far in the tournament. I don't know how far they'll get, but I know that they're probably gonna at least make it past that first round.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Just from experience alone. I mean, Jonathan Zulu and Wilder, I think have both been wrestling 10 plus years at this point now.
If I remember correctly, they took a few years off, but when they came back, it was like they never left.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Zulu, you know he's got the endurance. We saw how long he lasted in the King of the Hill Rumble earlier this year.
Yes, looking at almost a full hour?
Very close.
Jonathan Zulu was in. I think he was number 3 or number 2, and came in and lasted all the way with Big Vic to the finals. He's got the endurance to make it all 3 rounds.
No question.
So let's go to another tag team. Let's talk about Malicious Intent. One of the newer tag teams of CHWA in recent months. Aleister Crow and Ramsey Rancid with Waylon Phoenix as kind of their enforcer. But it's our understanding that Aleister Crowe and Ramsey Rancid will be the tag team of this tournament.
When I heard Malicious Intent announced for the tournament, I was wondering if it was going to be Aleister Crowe and Waylon teaming up.
You would think with those two being the size they are, that's
Right.
another big team to really look out for.
Shades of the Natural Disasters.
Yes.
In terms of being able to just run people over. But I guess maybe Ramsey Rancid figured that these two who are longtime rivals and are just now on the same page, that maybe he couldn't rely on them to keep it together for the whole tournament.
Yeah, when winning tag team gold, you really have to be able to trust your partner. You can't be wary going in, because that's going to cause problems down the line, and you want to get to that final round with full trust in your partner.
Right.
And who knows? It could have been the Sands decision.
It could have been.
Ramsey's very much said in multiple promos and different things where the Sands are telling him what to do, and it sounds like the Sands are telling what Malicious Intent is going to do. So it might be the Sands that told Crowe and Ramsey to tag.
Sands of the Hourglass.
Yes. But that's I think that's a team that could be a secret, like, underdog,
Kind of
because you never know what certain tag teams will do.
Like, I think a lot will depend on how well they work together as a team.
Agreed.
As we mentioned, even if it's Ramsey Rancid and Aleister Crowe as the team, like, they're still a very new group. I mean, we saw a little bit at the most recent show how they had a few stumbling blocks.
Yeah, very much so. They're after Ramsey's match where Ramsey and Crowe are beating up Shiloh and Waylon's not helping, but they got it back. They got Waylon on board by the end of the night with that 6-man tag. I mean, they got it together, but is that enough to make it through the tournament? That's going to be the big question that you are going to have to see on Saturday, June 21st at Edwardsville, Illinois.
Absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit about the other team that was part of that 6-man tag, the Empire of Pain, another new team in CHWA consisting of two fairly new faces in wrestling in general, especially to CHWA.
No doubt. Marquise Harris and Xavier Payne.
Yes.
In fact, they're no strangers to the Junkies for Fame. We saw Marquise teaming up with, I think it was Jalen Strong against the Junkies.
Yeah.
And then the following month, it was Marquise and Xavier teaming for the first time.
Yes, and it seemed like Marquise was looking for a tag partner to try and maybe get into the tag division, see that there's a potential there, because, like we said, Junkies have run through just about every tag team in CHWA. So they're looking for new blood, and what a way to enter yourself into CHWA and get almost guaranteed opportunities at title gold in the tag division.
Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is, when you're a long-time champion, either singles or tags, sometimes you maybe get a little complacent, like maybe we're seeing out of the Junkies, and they'll start taking opponents a little lightly, as we could potentially see, and they might underestimate a team like the Empire of Pain.
Yeah, and that's something you have to look out for. Is we've already seen on social media that JSO has seen the 6 guaranteed tag teams that they're potentially going to face, and I believe the exact comment was a bunch of dumpster fire. So JSO is already underestimating all the tag teams, and that may be the end. That may be the downfall to them come July. But you never know. Like, the Junkies are very much no strangers to competition, and they could still run over anybody, I think.
Absolutely. All they got to do on June the 21st is sit back and watch and see their new contenders be determined.
Yeah.
And then they'll have at least a little bit of time to prepare before that title shot comes.
Yeah, at least a month's time before they get a shot at whoever wins the tournament.
Right.
But Empire Pain, I think they can do well. I personally hope they make it out of that first round.
Right.
But I know that there's a lot of stiff competition that they've got to go against, and in this case, experience is going to be a key factor in the tournament.
Right, they're a very new team.
Very new team.
Both in terms of individually and as a team. They've only teamed up a handful of times so far.
Yeah. But, let's go into our last guaranteed tag team. We've talked about 5 tag teams so far. We got one more, and that's going to be the Gateway Underground. IP Mason and Cordell Kane. CHWA International Champion IP Mason.
So already no strangers to gold. Looking
no stranger
for more.
to gold and looking for more, especially after last month seeing IP Mason mess with Elride for the undisputed title. I mean,
this guy wants everything.
He wants all the belts. That means he's going to be coming for Iorio for the 1-up if that's the case. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Gateway to Glory Tag Team Tournament, and Gateway Underground is a newer tag team to CHWA, but not a new tag team to the St. Louis area. And from all that I understand, Gateway's been killing it out in the St. Louis area.
Absolutely. I've seen them competing at promotions all over the Midwest, all around the St. Louis area. CHWA fans know IP Mason very well, but Cordell Kane only recently made a CHWA debut.
Yeah, only a few months ago, right?
Right. So bringing the team to CHWA, seeing if they can pick up some tag team gold here, and I think they have what it takes to make it through the tournament. They've got the experience together as a team that puts them at an advantage over at least a couple of the duos we already know.
Agreed. That's a scary tag team in the sense of they're quick on their feet. They're very much quick thinkers, especially with IP Mason, and it's a good chance that those two can outwit some of these other tag teams. And that's at no offense to any of the tag teams, but with IP Mason and Cordell, you've really got to play your cards right, because IP Mason is just a master thinker, and Cordell seems to be the wild man of the group to do anything and everything.
Comes in with a lot of energy, just throws himself at his opponents to achieve victories.
Agreed.
I've seen him come off the top rope many a time to pick up wins.
Yeah.
I think there's
came in with Hairspray, I think, the other month to get a tag team win against Project Ego.
Absolutely.
But that's just another tag team to look out for, and that's 6 of the 8. I mean, with these 2 wild cards, we just don't know what the last 2 could be.
Right.
There's so many tag teams that could be in there. I mean, I know Bulletproof is still running around with Sean Justice and Isaiah the Enforcer. They're still doing things in the St. Louis area.
How about
Dysfunction's out there. I know Mike Midas was really I think Dysfunction is a favorite for him to come in and steal the whole tournament.
They've held gold just about everywhere they've been.
Yeah. Let's see here. We haven't seen them in a while, and they're no strangers to CHWA. But oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Jackal and JD, Arc City Mercenaries.
Right.
Arc City Mercenaries. I know.
Jackal just recently returned to action from an injury not too long ago,
and we haven't seen JD or Tony Estima in a while, so that's a team that we could look forward to seeing.
At any number of previous CHWA tag team champions. It could be one of those 2.
Yeah,
one of those duos.
And that's like I said earlier with the Warriors. I mean, there's Jake Prater as a Warrior. Waylon's obviously busy with Malicious Intent, but we still don't have a word on Angelo Grimsley if he's back in action from injury. He's a Warrior. And with that in mind, there's also New Foundation with Angelo Grimsley, with Joe Carter, with Esau Crane. we don't know who could be these two mystery
Heck, posthumans.
posthumans. Yeah, those two could pop in. There's you've got SWO with Iorio and Radical Rick or Igor. There's just so much, and that's just CHWA tag teams up through the years. There's still St. Louis tag teams that we haven't.
The St. Louis territory is a big place.
Yes. So, I look forward to being there on the 21st of June, seeing what two tag teams we get, as well as seeing the rest of the tag tournament. Obviously, there's going to be, I think, 7 matches in total.
Right.
With the tournament alone. I believe there's going to be maybe another one in there. Not for sure just yet. We're still waiting on the full card to be released. But, at this point, we're talking the tag tournament. And the tag tournament is where it's going to be at that night. And I, for one, am very excited to be sitting ringside, or, well, I guess standing ringside with my camera filming the entire thing.
And I'll be calling the action along with Mike Midas, Luke Roberts, or whoever else is going to be sitting up there with me.
Could be Guido.
Could be Guido.
Could be the Junkies for all you know.
Could be the Junkies.
Because why wouldn't the Junkies be sitting and watching at least in the main event?
They better be.
They better be. You better be there watching to see what your opponents are going to have.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of tournaments in general. Especially when it comes to the one-night tournament, it's a test of endurance and seeing how you deal with potential stumbling blocks along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you may have a tough first-round match, but your semifinal opponent, they had a cakewalk, so they're the fresher team. So you got to deal with that.
Yeah, or you may have the case of two tag teams are in the finals and they're beat. They're both worn down from their previous matches. And so you don't know what you're going to get. That it takes that little bit of extra oomph to get through that hurdle to get the win.
And then what if someone gets hurt early in the tournament?
Yeah, exactly.
That could throw the entire complexion of the tournament out of whack.
Exactly. We've seen it plenty of times where tag team members get hurt in the first round, and it's like, okay, well now what do we do? We've went on to the next round. How are we gonna fight through this? And it's going to be a lot for the tag teams to grit their teeth and push through to the finals.
And it could be a first experience for several of these teams when it comes to a tournament format, especially a one-night tournament.
Exactly.
I mean, we know that they can go, but can they go out there and get it done multiple times in one night, 2 or even 3?
Exactly. But I think that's all we've got to talk about, Patrick. We've talked about our six guaranteed tag teams. Let's go through them again. We got the Revolution. We got Malicious Intent. We've got STL Connection. We've got Switchblaze. We've got Gateway Underground, and we've got the Empires of Pain.
Quite a lineup.
Quite a lineup. Quite the 6 tag teams to look forward to. And then, like we've been saying, 2 wild card tag teams that we do not know who they're going to be or when or where they're coming from. For all we know, Chris Exodus has been going to different states. He could be bringing the tag team from a different promotion that we've never seen in St. Louis before.
Absolutely. I mean,
so
I think any of the 6 teams we know could pose a great challenge for Junkies for Fame. And the only question is who.
I agree. And I look forward to that match in July as well, where Junkies find out who they're, we're going to find out who the Junkies face in June, but then we're going to see the match in July. And I can't wait for that. But that has been the Gateway to Glory tournament talk between myself, Cameron Guidilli, and Patrick Brandmeier. Hope you guys all are excited and ready for the tournament like we are. And we will see you guys all at Edwardsville or on YouTube here during the premiere of that tournament.
Right.
In the meantime, I've been Cameron Guidilli.
I'm Patrick Brandmeier.
And we will see you all later, CHWation. We are out.